Hi, 11th day of my liquid protein journey. Thank you for watching. Snoopy, are you ready for the walk? Yeah, we had to try to slip in a walk between the rain and me trying to heal my bruised toes. Hmm. Yeah, I had bruised toes. Um, then I found some unused insoles, that I cut off the toe area so that my toes would have more room. You know, it's all about course correction and making adjustments. Okay. I've been awake since 5 a.m. Well, 5:30, and I was doing bed exercises. So I kept my legs activated for a whole hour, right? And oh my God, I can tell you that was tiring. But like I said, I was trying to stay off my feet, you know. Plus, like I said, it was raining and I wasn't going to get out there and walk in the rain. Stop it! Just stop it. That is not a good doggy. Yeah. So Snoopy had been bothering me for like the last hour, trying to encourage me to go for a walk, right? I've been assessing my protein drinks that I bought. Adkins is the smoothest and the most satisfying, even though that one only had 15 grams of protein, which, definitely was appropriate since, I wasn't, walking. The Slim Fast strawberry cream, that one had a gritty, chalky taste. So, no, we won't be buying that one again. And the Premier protein, that one was really pretty good in cookies and cream flavored. It was pretty good. Yeah. So I typically like Premier protein and Adkins because of the taste is good. The reason why I don't necessarily like the Premier protein is because it does taste extra sweet, and that sort of triggers me in, even though I drink the shake, because it's not as satisfying, I'll want to indulge in some kind of more food. You see? So between Swim Blast, Premier Shake, for me, trying to lose weight is definitely the Atkins brand. Okay? Premier protein, has gotten to be real popular because it does taste good. Okay? I won't mind, drinking that if I'm occupied enough not to want to eat afterwards, or I'm so busy that I can't eat afterwards. Or, you know, I'm aware that I will want to eat afterwards, and that I would, instead of eating, that I will, fix my apple cider drink and drink that to soothe that sweet and salty cravings that I get. Okay? Yeah. So even though I consider today a rest day from being on my feet, I didn't let that be an excuse for complete immobility, right? Because you can do exercises sitting down, or you can do exercises treating your bed as if it was the floor, right? Which is what I do. So I did get in some stretches. I did do my core exercises, and I did move my legs for a complete hour. Yeah, did bed aerobics all by myself. Anyway, now, I'm not going to make this a long walk because it is partially cloudy, and I just don't feel like being caught out in the rain. But I'm really trying to, condition myself to get out of the house, at least once a day, even if it's at nighttime. Okay? Because here's the thing. When you get out, you normally would take a certain amount of care when you leave the house, right? Such as putting on shoes, or, combing your hair, making sure, you're dressed appropriately. Okay? So that helps in the area of self-care. Okay? We may think, oh yeah, I take care of myself, but you haven't brushed your hair, or even put on shoes, or even dressed in a way that's how you want to be seen in the world. Okay? So a lot of people will say, you can do that, even if you're not going anywhere. And I'll be honest, I usually take my shoes off as soon as I get in the house. I don't like tracking in dirt from outside into the house. No foreign dirt. So, and who knows, sometimes, you can step on a piece of shit and not know it until, you take off your shoes because you've been trekking around in the house. And, yeah. Now you know. It's really interesting, how some of the things that we would do kind of automatically, you know, aren't defined. But, you know, we really need to pay attention to our intentions. Okay? Trying to, you know, do a quick start on a healthy weight loss journey is difficult. And the good thing about it is, by having a quick start, you start to see immediate results, right? And during this quick start, I can't even tell you how, you know, I'm fearful to go back to my old ways of overeating and junk food eating. I am. I'm fearful of that. And I'll be honest, you know, if I had stopped before being able to see progress, you know, I probably would have given up and said, okay, you know, I'm an old lady, you know, who cares what I eat, how I look, you know, when I should be caring about myself. I should love seeing who I am. Right? I should want to feel like, you know, I'm putting in the best effort to live my best life. Right? I can tell you that, you know, when you're older and you're an empty nester, you know, you do start to feel like, you know, somewhat useless, right? It's like, well, you know, I have no purpose, I have no mission, but you have to fight that. You really do. And it's hard because we have spent our whole lives, you know, pursuing our career, or, you know, feeling like it's our duty to help other people. And that's cool. But just because it stops doesn't mean that now you don't have anything to live for. Because I'm going to tell you, you're not going to leave this earth until it's your time to leave this earth. You're not. Okay? And even if some people who tried to kill themselves, you know, they were not successful because it wasn't their time. You know, they made themselves an invalid, right? And they have to sit there and think about how, ooh, you know, I'm even a failure at killing myself, right? That's just my drama, my humor when it comes to that sort of thing. But it's a serious thing, right? And I reinforce my conviction by watching these videos from my 600-pound life. Because in watching that, they have a lot of the same excuses that go through my mind. A lot. Oh, well, life has treated me shitty, therefore, the only thing I love is food, right? Well, the problem is, excessive food, only a little bit of that is going to love you back. The rest will attack your organs, your flesh, your brain, and, do some serious harm. Okay, that's just the truth. So, and the thing that I had noticed most on just about every last single one of these videos were people that ate all gas, no brakes. Whatever they wanted, they ate it. Whatever they ate until, they were completely stuffed or had no more. Okay? And so it was like, I guess they thought they were free to eat whatever they want to, but oblivious that eventually all that food will entrap them to disease and maybe even fatality. So, kind of makes me think about, what I learned from the Bible. Right? Stop it. Everything in moderation. Okay? And I don't think he was talking about bad things in moderation. He was saying good things in moderation. Bad things you shouldn't try to do at all. Okay? So don't get it twisted. And the abuse that some of these caretakers to these people that are, eating themselves to death and enlisting feeders to help them, right? They never think about, that they too will suffer, because after that person passes away, they're going to be knowing that they contributed to that person's death, right? And that's probably a kind of guilt that will cause them to eventually spiral down in shame and guilt. Okay? So we have one society that tries to self-medicate themselves with the use of food. We have another society that tries to medicate themselves with drugs and alcohol and sex. Okay? And the sad part about it is when you're hurting, you don't look at secondary effects of what you're doing, right? You're only satisfying an immediate goal, right? And yeah, this is the world that we live in. And it makes sense that here we were, born into a world to temper, our desires, or learn, what happens when we indulge in our heathenistic pursuits. Okay? It's really weird how my lessons, they happen to be, internal. And because my lessons are internal, I've really had to do a lot of introspection and reflecting. And I can say, well, I can blame it. I can blame it if I want to. Oh, I was raised in a dysfunctional family, and and I've suffered abuse here and there, and I've been mistreated because I'm interracial in this world and not accepted by any cultural group. I can do that. But what good is that going to do me, really, to walk around here with a chip on my shoulder and not healing, or, not making appropriate adjustments to go where I'm revered instead of, rebelled against or attacked, So I can say, I feel pretty good about the community that I picked to live in. I've lived here for close to 25 years, and here it is. What time is it? 9 o'clock at night, and the neighborhood is fairly safe to walk in at night. Okay? One of the things that I remember when, I left LA was, I felt like I needed to get out of LA because of all of the gangs and all of the drugs and just crime in general, right? And very, very fake people wearing masks. Okay? Um, but I can say, one thing about uh, cosmopolitan cities like LA, Seattle, uh, Washington, D.C. is, a lot of people will go to these places seeking something, and most will end up leaving with a plan. Something that maybe they couldn't acquire in their small town, right? That somewhere they were going to get a message, some type of instruction. There's a lot, I want to say the main reason why people cater to those locations is because it generates a lot of energy. And within that energy, you can pick up messages or something like that. It's kind of interesting to think about. And you kind of have to be a person who is spiritual enough to truly understand energy, right? And one of the things that was crossing my mind is, everything we do is wrote down in our spiritual resume. Yep, that's what was brought to my attention today. Each and every single one of us, everything we do and everything that happens to us is wrote down on our spiritual resume. So when I look at it in terms of, in those terms, it's easier for me to understand. Now, we all are applying for a position after this lifetime, okay? And our spiritual resume is what's going to prepare us for what's going to happen when we die. And yes, I am closer to the tomb than the womb. So these are things that must cross my mind. Okay? Because, yeah, you don't want to be a fool and say, oh, well, don't God, save the fools and the children? I don't think that that's the type of fool that they're talking about. Because most of us, we know right from wrong from the time that we're, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why, it's at that age where they decide to then start testing your knowledge. As a preschooler, right from wrong. Are you going to behave in preschool? Etc., 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 all the way through life. All the way through life. There are so many different stages, and there are so many different developmental patterns. So, yeah. Being closer to the tomb than the womb, right? We have a huge population of people born to the baby boomers. And then another population boom right after that, because we weren't really involved directly in a war. Indirectly, yes, but directly, no. So, people were having a lot of sex. And then when people started having a lot of sex, a lot of people became addicted to sex. There's a lot of people walking around here as sex addicts. And they don't even know it. And even if they did know it, they'd rather deny it. Because doesn't it say, go forth and multiply? Right? But it's like, but you're mammals, right? The offspring can't survive without due care. They need due care. And due care is approximately 2 decades. Right? So every time you take a risk in having sex with someone, right? Unprotected sex, you have to take under consideration, you could be opening yourself up to a 2-decade commitment, right? And honestly, a lot of people don't think that far ahead. Most people, they're lucky to have a 5-year plan. At best, a 10-year plan, but not a 20-year plan, right? Because in 20 years, a whole political reconstruction can happen. Whew. So anyway, thankfully it didn't rain. I finished my walk. I wasn't forced to do the treadmill because it forces me to be consistent in taking these steps. That's what caused the bruising on my feet. And yeah, thank you for watching Cherie's weight loss journey. Yeah, I will be recording again tomorrow. Good night. Bye.